This video will provide an overview of the coordinated access systems for adults and families in Multnomah County. Coordinated access is a process designed to coordinate housing resources for people experiencing homelessness. The idea is that rather than going to every organization that might have a resource, the person seeking services can complete a standardized assessment at one of the agencies and be placed on a centralized list for a range of resources across multiple organizations. Our community follows a coordinated access process in compliance with the Department of Housing and Urban Development's COC interim rule, which requires continuums of care to establish a coordinated access system and provides guidance as to what that should entail. A continuum of care, or COC, is a regional or local planning body that coordinates housing and services funding for homeless families and individuals. The primary goal of coordinated access is for housing and homeless assistance to be allocated as effectively as possible and to make this assistance easily accessible no matter where or how people present. This is about improving the experience for people trying to gain access to the housing and support services they need, while at the same time better utilizing the scarce resources we have. We are working towards a system where someone has access to a range of services regardless of where the person first shows up in our system. The old system involved a person seeking housing assistance, contacting various housing programs, going through various assessments and intakes to determine eligibility, and being put on various wait lists. The goal is to lessen the number of times someone has to tell their story. So we're working towards a system where people can complete fewer assessments and be placed on fewer wait lists and have a greater access to our community's resources. Our community is not at that point yet, and many of our housing agencies still have applications and referral processes that are outside of our coordinated access systems, but we've made progress at coordinating services as a community. We do coordinated access for many reasons, including to remain eligible and competitive for HUD Continuum of Care and Emergency Solutions Grant funding, to create a more equitable system that is easier to access and navigate, apply a more trauma-informed approach to accessing services, apply a racial equity lens to the work being done in our community, and hold ourselves accountable to addressing racial disparities and homelessness, to direct limited resources to the people who need them the most, to collect community-level data to quantify unmet need and guide resource allocation. And with many doors to access the system, we increase opportunities for participants to work with agencies or individuals they are comfortable with. In Multnomah County, we have separate systems and processes for coordinated access for youth, survivors of domestic violence, families with children, adults unaccompanied by children, and veterans. The family system includes adults accompanied by minor children, while the adult system are households unaccompanied by children and where all members of the household are over the age of 18. Please remember that we let participants and households define family, so household members do not have to be biologically related in order to be served as a household. Main points of access to these subsystems are different. You can find more information at homeforeveryone.net/coordinated access. There you will find a partner list for adult and family systems, a general overview of each subsystem, and coordinated access guidelines for our community. It is important for you as an assessor to know basic information about accessing each subsystem so you can refer people to the appropriate systems when you meet with them. We recognize that these are fake silos. For example, a parent with minors in the household may also be a veteran who is fleeing domestic violence. Work is happening to align these systems to make it easier for people needing services to get connected to the appropriate resource. The assessment is just one piece of the coordinated access systems. The tool asks personal and intrusive questions, and it is best to build relationship with a participant before assessing them for coordinated access. We understand not all providers have the ability to follow up with participants, and sometimes your interaction with them may be the only time you're ever able to engage with them and complete an assessment. But if you're able to see the participant more than once, we suggest not leading with the assessment, meaning that you should try as best as you can to build a relationship with the person and determine if assessing them for coordinated access is the appropriate next step. We also know that just because you are assessing someone, it doesn't mean you'll end up working with them for ongoing services, housing, or retention. We ask that you try your best to connect a participant with other support services, especially if you're not able to follow up yourself. One way of doing this is to inform yourself of our local resources. We suggest asking your coworkers about community resources, attending community meetings like the Coordinate Access for Adults case conferencing meetings, participating in Home for Everyone work groups listed on the Home for Everyone website in order to learn more about ways we can support our unhoused community. After you complete an assessment with our participant, you will enter their information into ServicePoint and refer them to the appropriate prioritized list or lists. If a participant rises to the top of the list based on vulnerability score and availability of services, they will be matched to the appropriate housing resource where they will go through a housing intake process and be placed in housing. This process can happen within a few days of assessment and referral to the adult or family lists, but for many this can take weeks or months, and some people may not be matched with a resource through coordinated access. Questions about a household you have referred can be directed to the Coordinated Access Lead at the Joint Office of Homeless Services. We will go into more detail about how to talk about the prioritized lists and how to follow up with participants in our video, The Role of the Assessor in Coordinated Access. For questions or how to find out about the next in-person training, please reach out to the Joint Office of Homeless Services at johs@multco.us or look up Coordinated Access Team Contacts at homeforeveryone.net/contact.